Do you believe in God?
Yeah, I do believe in God.
Okay, good. Which God?
Not a particular God, I believe just a God as an energy.
Energy. You mean like
Mhm.
black holes or supernovas or some nuclear reactors?
Not at all.
What do
Like
you mean by
everything,
energy
like
then?
if you get worn, it gets healed, right? If you get cut, it get healed. If you plant a tree, it grows up.
Okay.
That is because of any of a source. Something is growing, something is being grown up in front of your eyes. You can see.
Yes, and we can explain why it's growing, right? But when we are explaining those things, we don't need to use the word soul or energy or God. Sure, we use energy, but not the way that you present, right?
Mm-hmm. I'm not exactly saying that's an energy, but anything that's behind all of this, I'm particularly saying the creator. That can be
Okay.
God, not partiating in between any gods.
Okay, then who is behind that creator?
No one knows.
No one knows. But are
No
you
one.
assuming there can be or there must be? At least according to your logic, there must be, right? Because nothing can work by itself. Everything
Yeah,
must
sure.
another thing to explain that thing, right?
Hmm. As the matter of conservation says that energy neither can be created nor exists nor destroyed, but it can be converted from one form to another. But at first, the energy needs to be created, and then at a certain point, energy can get just transformed to another forms.
What if energy just exists like that?
There's nothing that just exists, and just existence, that's where the term of power, that's
How
where the
do you know
term of
that?
energy comes.
Because we know
No
that
one knows about this.
the energy
Hmm.
here cannot be destroyed or created.
Yeah,
So how can you claim that it has been created
everything has a certain reason of creation.
for existence?
Yeah,
But they exist
there
already. I
has
mean,
been
like
there.
you can't say
Hmm.
that they came from nowhere. For example, cherry pick any object in this universe. We know that how they formed, but that doesn't mean what formed them they didn't exist. Like energy existed here already. Then things form, yeah, but they're not coming
And
from
how you are
somewhere
sure
else.
about that the energy existed past years back? Are you sure that energy just existed?
I'm not sure, but again, we don't see also good evidence that energy has been created from nothing.
Can I quote an example?
Yeah, go on.
If you grown up at a certain age, you started thinking by your own, and any child can think, okay, every children, every child that coming to school has a home built up by their parents. But you start to think like, okay, everybody should have a home,
Everybody
and
should. No, I don't think that. But anyway,
the home is a necessity that you think in a childhood. Okay, where
okay.
you do not know how to build a home. One needs to build a home
Mm-hmm.
to have everybody in the home, right?
Yeah,
So your father must be created your home.
must have
For your
created.
father might be there might be grandfather, there might be ancestors,
Okay,
but
someone
let's
created
assume
the.
that your father yeah, your father or ancestor must be a creator of your home or
Okay,
house.
okay.
You cannot say that, okay, there exists a home because when I was there, it was already there before my birth.
Yes, but
And
okay,
that
now I
that is not
understand your
here.
point, but there's a huge problem. Now, if you let me
Mhm,
explain.
mhm.
So, that example is a biased example because home is something that doesn't grow like a tree in the nature. It's something that we humans create. If you see a house, we know that it has been created by humans because we don't see that it appears in the nature automatically. It doesn't grow like an apple tree. We see people are building those houses, and we know that that's how a house is built or exists. We don't see a storm making a house. Only humans are making houses. That's how we know. But if you cherry pick this example and if you say that, oh, therefore everything has a creator, can be a fallacious argument because you're assuming that everything must have a reason, like the way that you cherry picked that house example. What about caves, for example? Caves are houses for animals, right? Not all of them, but many of them are houses for many animals. And we know how caves are appearing in the nature, right? It's the water carving, the earth, and it takes a lot of time. But in the end, yeah, we have those big holes under the ground. And we call it nature. That's why when we compare things, natural and unnatural, that's the difference, right? If there's someone
Mm,
involved while making it, that's unnatural, right? But there are things that the nature does. And
mhm,
there is also another problem. We as humans, we observe and we understand what exists in the nature, right? And we can imitate the
mhm,
nature. We can also make caves. So there are times that sometimes we are not sure it's man-made or it's natural, and there are such cases too. So again, like I could cherry pick the example of nature, but there will be a problem in my argumentation also because when we cherry pick nature, we assume that nature doesn't have a mind. Nature doesn't make
mhm.
things intentionally. Maybe, yeah, maybe nature is a tool, used by an intelligent being, maybe a god. Just we don't know that. That's the problem with the nature. But at least we don't have a very good reason to think that it was made by someone. We just see it the way that it is, and we just try to understand what is the cause behind this if there is a cause. But assuming that everything has a cause, like the house, that's just an assumption, because just because we exist in this universe and we don't know how we exist, and just because we have the ability to make things, that doesn't mean everything has been created by someone.
Mhm, mhm.
I'm done.
Okay. The point I was pointing to was like when we are child, we think that way. After a while, that we got to know, we got a sense that okay, these are man-made things, these are natural things. But as a child, you don't think that way. You just think,
Okay.
okay, these things are right there. So I'm just trying to get on a point that we are in a phase of a child, that we think we have much of a knowledge, and by our knowledge, these things must be man-made, these things must be natural.
You're technically saying that it's childish to think that things just exist the way that exist. And you're saying that this is childish because, look, a child can think that the houses just exist by themselves. And again, that's a fallacious reasoning just because you cherry pick an example where a child thinks falsely about houses, how they exist, or the inability to think how they exist. And that's a big mistake, my friend, when we think about things. And again, if let's suppose the same child looks at the nature and thinks that nature just exists like that, or a cave exists without someone, and that child could
Hmm.
be right. And you can't say that everything the child thinks is false. There are a lot of things that the kids think, and they're true.
Yes.
So by cherry picking a false example, at least a child thinks falsely about something, doesn't mean that what we think about the things that we see right now is the same case. Again, I'm not claiming that there are no creators. Maybe there is a creator. Maybe there are many creators. I just don't know. But the problem is our ability to make things, bring things together, is not a good evidence to think that everything exists the way that the things that we created.
Mm.
It doesn't follow logically.
Interesting. That makes sense, and that's interesting. Just the point is in an Indian history that they mention as an I'm an Indian, by the way. They mention a lot of gods. There are a lot of philosophies. Okay, these many gods created these things. Okay, the departments are assigned, by the way. Okay, the destroyer is defined, the creator is defined, everyone is defined in God. But I believe that there were too much of wise people in ancient history and ancient Indian history. They have created for the people, for the next generations. Okay, so they believe and act accordingly. As like, if you say whatever we believe might be true, yeah, whatever we see, we found out by making some scientific explanations, that might be true. But that is also true that few hundred years back we used to think that earth is flat, earth is completely flat. But after discovering a lot of things, going into aviation, going outside of the earth and seeing all of these structures, then we got to know earth is not actually flat. but that was a boundary of our knowledge, that was a boundary of our brain. So why can't we think, okay, there might be some other things as well from now on onwards, for just a 1% of what we should know? Can it be a possibility that we just know the world 1%, that what on just earth we have explored a little bit of Mars and a whole of moon, other is just a mystery for us?
Yeah, what's your point?
I'm just making a point that there's much of other planets where much of a space that can be there are, like, means I'm not able to particularly say that, okay, but I'm saying that there must be a creation
Must
as
be.
like earlier, and our view is limited to
Uh,
what we have seen, to what we have observed.
mhm. I understand, but again, it's a fallacious reasoning. Well,
Yeah.
we know that we don't know everything, but that doesn't mean there must be a creator. We can create any argument like this. For example, I can say we don't know
Hmm.
everything, then there must be 77 gods. Why? Because we don't know everything. Another example, we don't know everything, therefore the God of Christianity must be true. Why? Because we don't know everything. We didn't observe everything. Our knowledge is too little. Therefore,
Hmm.
Christian God must be the true God. So you see, I can create a lot of statements just by saying we don't know everything. That's why your statement doesn't make sense. We don't know everything. Therefore, this universe must be on the top of a turtle, the universe itself, a very
Yes.
giant turtle. How can you claim that this is false? You don't know everything, right?
Mm, yeah. Anyone can say anything who just wake up in the morning. Okay, that's Earth is again flat.
I mean, maybe it's harder to make claims about this planet because we observed a lot
No,
of
we
things
have
about this planet.
explored it. That's fine. But I'm just assuming that we haven't. Okay. Should we move on to the next topic? Can you a little bit of explain what is atheism?
Atheism as a belief that there's no God or lack of belief in God.
Then what's the next topic that you want to discuss about?
It's not like I want to discuss about like these are topics that you can choose also. So there's
Okay.
no rule that we should
Oh.
discuss one by one.
Mm-hmm. What are your thoughts of the life? Like,
I
what
just
what
simply
do you?
don't believe in afterlife.
Yeah, I do.
You too.
Mm,
You believe a creator, but you don't believe in afterlife. Okay, that's possible.
no, I don't. Like I believe I created something, but that does not exist after I destroyed it. That's it.
Okay, but sometimes we destroy something, but we still use some part of it.
Mm. As like we can say, if I'm just remain as a body, then I might be used for to feed another animals. That can be a use of
You
mine.
see, even in the natural example, yeah, we can do that. But if we have souls, then our souls maybe exist.
Mm-hmm. Souls
So
can
there's no
exist.
rule that if
There is
someone
no
created something
yes,
and destroys it, that doesn't mean he destroys everything, or that doesn't mean he must destroy everything about that creation.
but there is no real proof that anything exists that is for a lifetime of others.
But we know that nothing can be destroyed, also. I mean, energy cannot be destroyed in this universe.
But that
So,
energy cannot be found as well.
cannot be created. Yeah, yeah. I mean, not that energy. Like, energy cannot be
Mm,
created, but the energy
mm.
exists cannot be destroyed.
Yeah, it cannot be destroyed. It can be it has a proofs of, okay, the light energy got transmitted, the sound energy and the heat energy by just burning you burning ashes off. But that's not the actual truth. What I'm making a point, like, if there is an argument about souls leave the body, and uh, is there any scientific explanation to that?
I
No,
don't think,
I don't think
yeah,
so. So I don't think there is any afterlife.
yeah, can't claim confidently that there's no afterlife. As you said, we don't know everything about think, right? We don't know everything. Therefore, maybe, yeah.
It's just our thoughts, it's just our limited knowledge, source of knowledge that we can talk about. Hi, Vogue.
Welcome, Julie Woogie.
Hey guys, I really okay.
Okay, anyway, I'll stop recording. Thanks for joining. Bye bye.